Okay, it's a little after 8:30,
I'm sorry.
so I'll call a meeting to order.
I'm going to check my.
The first item on the agenda is
I don't know if it is.
public comments. Public comments from anyone. Mr. Babson?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last week, when Commissioner Kenney was going over her list of questions, she raised a question that some non-public information had been released on the vote for the, who was going to do the investigation for Mr. Perry.
Yeah.
And as we all know, the vote was taken right here in open, we all heard it,
Yeah.
and yet she was waving around a piece of paper claiming it was the non-public minutes. I'd like to know how that information got into the non-public meetings. Minutes are supposed to be an accurate transcript of what goes on. That did not take place in the non-public meeting. How did it get in the minutes?
In a non-public minutes? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it was, Commissioner Kenney had the piece of paper, and she kept saying it's right here in the minutes, and it was, she had the non-public minutes, and that vote was taken in a public meeting, not a non-public meeting. How did it get into those notes?
Well, that vote was not taken in at a public meeting. The only thing what I said, I'm in favor that the new human resource director is doing the jail investigation. That is what I said. But there was so much discussion, and you also said, no, she shouldn't be doing it. We need somebody outside. Commissioner Sorensen said no. So we went to discuss that in non-public, who we are going with. And I got an email from Mr. Perry. He sent it to 3 commissioners, a thank you email, and he said Commissioner Sorensen called me. He said he was outvoted for the first time, and they're not going to with Heon, but now they're going with a new HR director. That we did it in a non-public session. The minutes were sealed. It was not released, so you cannot bring it out. If we release it, then it's out.
Well, Commissioner Kenney, we all sat right here and heard the vote taken. You voted yes in favor of the human resource person. Dottie voted yes in front of for the.
No, at which meeting was that? Because it is not on tape. So I
It
don't
is
know what
on
you-
the tape.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, it is
Okay.
not.
I will look it up, and I will
It
come in
is-
and tell you
it
the
is
minutes
not.
where it is
Was-
on the tape.
Was there also on tape that Commissioner Sorensen said he's for the first time outvoted and we're not going with Heon? Because Heon was right here, because that's why we went into non-public. We were
Well, I don't know
inter-
what Commissioner
We were
Sorensen
interviewing him,
said.
we
I'm
were
just saying.
interviewing him if we're going with him or not, and that was not done in a public session.
Well, why did this get into, if it was taken in a public session?
It was not.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Kenney, it was. The people sitting here heard the vote. Now, how did it get into non-public minutes if it were taken here in an open meeting? These are supposed to be accurate transcripts of what goes on in a non-public session. Maybe you had further discussion, and that brings up a whole nother point. Why was that brought up in non-public session when it's obviously public information?
We went in a non-public with Mr. Heon for the jail investigation, who's going to do it, and if we're going to vote for the person. That was the non-public session all about. We make the motion.
Okay, enough on that subject. You got another subject you want to talk about?
Nope.
Mr. Brown?
Do you know, is there any, how much these trails are gonna cost the taxpayers that they're proposing out there?
I have no idea. What they're looking at is we've gotten $2,000 from the insurance company for health reasons. And I think the committee that was here last week gave us another $2,000. So now we have $4,000. They are looking at different stations along the trail that are going to be contributions made. In fact, I talked with Scans Lumber last week, and they are interested in doing something. So I think it's going to be a lot of volunteers. I think the farm will cut out the trail. But other than that, for taxpayers, I have no clue right now.
But there were quick to turn it over to the taxpayers at the last meeting that, this is gonna be their responsibility. Now, the one for the new nursing home, isn't that gonna have to be ADA compliant? And that's probably, which means it's probably gonna have to be paved, it's gonna have to be ADA compliant, and no one has any clue of what it's gonna cost the taxpayers?
I don't think it has to be paved. I think you can put in there, that compacted, I don't know what they call it.
Stone dust.
They use it on ball fields.
But you're not gonna be able to, roll a wheelchair through something like that,
Yes, you
I
can.
wouldn't think.
Yes, you can.
You can?
Yep.
Now, what about the new pellet boilers? Should we put radiant heating through it so that they can be used all year round?
Are you making that a suggestion?
Well, what else? I mean, we spend taxpayer money up here like water, we might as well.
I think you have to document that, Mr. Brown.
Oh,
If
how
you, please,
many ways, Mr. Chairman? Do you have to, do you want it documented? I mean, look at the way money's been spent up here.
look, Mr. Brown,
If this was a private business, this place would be out of business the way it's run.
well,
And
it's,
it's well documented.
well, it's not a private business.
I know, because.
It's a public
Thank
business.
God, because if it wasn't for the never-ending supply of someone else's money, this place would be out of business.
I'm not gonna listen to you unless you can document what you're saying, okay?
How about the pellet boilers? An extra $275,000?
$375.
Well, I think it was 375, 275 over the project from EGA.
Mr. Brown, you got another subject you wanna talk about?
Yeah, as a matter of fact. It was reported on the internet about a missing settlement file. And
I don't know.
apparently the former human resource director said it was her spouse's settlement file. Do you have any information on this?
I don't.
Well, it was on the internet, so it's,
Who is it from?
actually it was, there was a discussion and the former human resource director said the missing file was her spouse's settlement file.
Well, you need to talk with her about that?
Well,
Got another
I don't know
subject.
if you had any input on a
No.
missing file, missing county file. You don't know anything about a missing county file?
I believe it was in the paper that it was a missing file.
I saw it on the internet.
Okay. Anybody else got any, public input? Go ahead.
Just for my own information, Mr. Chairman, could you ask Mr. Brown where that is on the internet, so that, what site they're going to, so we can read what's going on?
You know where it is on the internet, Mr. Brown?
I do. That would be the county website, DBA GovernmentOversite.com.
And what day?
It was in the newspaper.
Well, I think it was
too.
some, within the last week, I believe. But if you go on GovernmentOversite.com, I mean, it's all the county people on there talking county business, so.
There's a blog section on that?
I have
I
no
didn't know-
I
idea.
had no
didn't
idea.
notice it. There
I'm
is.
not really on
Well,
Facebook.
people just post things on it, and then there's usually discussion. Like
Okay.
91As, grievances against commissioners,
Ed?
He's referencing the Facebook page for GovernmentOversite.com.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
oh, I'm
the-
sorry. that-
so-
I
so
didn't
it is
say
Facebook.
That's the blog section of the site.
Would either of you two like to say anything at this point in time?
Over here?
Yeah?
Well, I could.
Talking to us.
Yes, yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll make it short, I may speak later on. but
Just introduce yourself
I'm
again.
Rubin Eislee from Wakefield,
Mhm.
and the past 3 months, I think they're doing a very wonderful job over here at the nursing home, and there's a lot of good things. I get a little upset when people don't have anything good to say about anything anymore.
Mhm.
Every time somebody wants to put a nice thing into something like the walking path, our taxes, my God, our taxes are gonna go up. My tax bill hasn't gone up in 10 years in Wakefield, and we're cheap in Wakefield.
Mhm.
Every darn thing. You know, we got a good country here.
Mhm.
I worked here at the county farm. My mother worked here way back when it was a wooden building. It was a poor farm.
Mhm.
And my father worked here. I worked here, worked for Alice Grant and my sister.
Yeah.
And I'm really shocked about all this grievance. I don't like the way, and I'm not gonna mention names, I don't like the way when people get mad at me because I'm voting for certain people. I have my opinion. I mean, it seems as though when I go out and throw my opinion out, well, I'm bad, I'm a bad guy because I got 2 campaign posters.
Mhm.
But we still have a good country here. We still have a freedom here. We do, Steve, we do. If we, you know, over in the other worlds, if we went out and said something, we'd be taken out back and shot because we're a different religion.
Well, that's gonna happen here soon.
Oh, it's, everybody panics. Why do we have to scare everybody?
Just the fact.
I mean, I think this is a wonderful thing. Dave and Dave Batson and Mr. Rose, I think you're gonna do a good job, whoever gets in there.
Mhm.
But doesn't anybody ever think positive? I mean, I love to see that farm built right up.
Yeah.
And I've got into the farm, and I've talked to me and the BVAD, the Farm Bureau. And God's sakes, it's nowadays, you can't even have a couple of pigs up in your backyard because somebody's gonna knock it down. And yes, I do agree with you, Steve, on some of the rights. Some of the stuff. But I don't wanna get into a big argument. I don't
Well,
wanna.
Rubin, you just stated that you live in Wakefield and your taxes haven't gone up in 10 years. I live in Wakefield and my taxes
Mr.
go up
Brown?
every single
Well, wait,
year.
Mr.
And the county goes up every single year.
Mr. Brown?
And what do we get from the county?
I-
Mr.
Zero.
Brown,
We don't
Mr.
even have a county list for the nursing home.
Mr. Brown?
We've been through that. I just wanna say the good things we have in this country, in this county.
Okay,
And
thank
we
you
do
very
have a
much.
good free country, just things, little things need to be fixed.
Mhm.
But why is it, we're always hollering and fighting and pointing fingers at this one and that one? I got grandchildren that's gonna be coming into this world. I got 7 grandchildren,
Mhm.
and I'm concerned about this. I mean, what is corrupt about planting berries, putting potatoes in? I go over to the nursing home, I got 4 friends over there. And one friend of mine is a real nice person. She happens to be a Mormon, and this is what the Mormon church promotes,
Yeah.
farming. I'll say something later on, I'll let this go, and
Mhm.
I think we're lucky.
Yeah.
Can I tell
Okay.
my story?
Sure, go ahead.
Do you want to sit over there?
Yeah.
Come up here and use this.
You can sit right here.
Thank you. I came in to say thank you for what you've done in this community of a county. It is a good representation of what we in the United States of America live for, looking after and loving one another. I am one of the old nurses that worked in the, it isn't here, the white building that was the county poor farm. They had it there for a reason. They used simple terms, poor farm. I remember some of the people. I was here working, and I was working here when they built the buildings that you just moved out of. They were beautiful in that day, but we've come a long way. And the words that I have heard, the negative words about the county home, I wonder if those people like Becky Nason that I know for 20, 30 years and worked with at Huggins Hospital, I wonder what she would think if I told her that the building was corrupt. There's nothing corrupt about it. We're living in, I have to congratulate you people for bringing it as far, because I started working here 44 years ago. And I wouldn't be ashamed of being in the new building. It's better than some people's homes. And I had a lot to say, but I think it's delightful. My son brought me that book, the orange-colored book. Your reports are all in it. And I was delighted to hear of the planting and the prisoners being able to get out and do some of the work. Better than sitting in jail, stagnating. I remember years ago, I started out, I'm older than anybody here, and I started out when I came up.
No, not the Rubin stuff.
Bid.
Pardon?
I might be older than you.
No, you're not. You're not in your 80s.
No, not yet.
Okay.
1944, I started working here. The ones that we just emptied out, you just emptied out, they were beautiful when they were first built. Howard Smart, who came from Western Massachusetts, who my first husband built a house for, encouraged me to come and work here. And I did for quite a while, but I also held a full-time job at Huggins Hospital. And I can't get over the fact that you're cutting wood, you're getting money for it, you're doing all the snow plowing, it's all coming in. It's the United States of America way of living. No other country is living in such a beautiful condition as we are. And I hope that we keep it that way. I trust the Lord that He will keep it that way. I think I'll quit now.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate you, what you had to say. We'd like to see things kept positive.
The reason why we are in the nursing care business is it is in every county, and it is a way of life in the United States of America.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else got public input? Mr. Brown?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, last week you handed out this budget history.
Yes.
Well, you went after 3 of the years, but you didn't mention the other 2 years that it's up 21%.
The point I was making was we were going in the right direction. As you go from left to right, we were reducing the amount of money to be raised by taxes in 2 of those years. The last year that's on there, it was up 2.8%, and that was because the state passed us down about $1 million bill for DEAS that we didn't expect. Also, we had to pay some money towards the new nursing home. That's why it went up that last year. So the point was that it was going in the right direction. It was decreasing the amount of money to be raised by taxes. Follow that?
It's still up over $5 million in the past 5, the budget is. Budget's up over $5 million in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah? Who pays the budget?
You know as well as I do.
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's still up over 21% in the last 5 years.
That's your figures, not mine.
No, they're not my figures, these are your figures.
You pass that out.
Okay. I didn't see the 21% on there.
But I want to add something. You passed the sheet out and you didn't mention that you also put from the general funds every year, I believe last year, 1.4 million from the general funds to offset the taxes, to reduce the taxes.
Well,
Every year,
Again.
you're taking money out from the general funds to reduce the taxes. And I believe last year was 1.4 million
that's surplus money that
that you
comes
take
in.
out. So, but you take it out to put it by the taxes, so.
Okay. The
You
point-
said the taxes are not getting up, but you're taking money out from the other fund.
I guess somebody's not hearing what I'm saying.
I
I'm
hear what you
saying
say,
that-
it's on paper.
That according to that sheet, to be raised by taxes, it was going down, no matter how you figure it, with the exception of that last year. And that last year, we had to pay for the new nursing home, and we got hit with a heavy bill from the state. Another area where they're passing down costs to the county. Okay, anybody, Mr. Babson?
Speaking of that, Mr. Chairman, I asked Jason if he could get me some figures, and I'm sorry I didn't bring them, but I think I've got this right. In 2009, the time between an individual's arrest or incarceration at the jail and his trial date, I believe, was 125 days. This year, I believe the figure is 245 days. It's almost double. At $72 a day, I think Jason's figure was, and this is right off the top of my head.
Normally, it has
Around
been,
almost $400,000 that have been passed down to the county in unforeseen downshifting of funds. And I know a couple of years ago, you folks got together with the local judge and got things moved so that the time was shortened up. But I think it's time to do it again if you can. I know that there's been a cut in the court funding, and this is just terrible. I mean, to say we haven't passed anything down, you certainly have. That's $400,000 just in time that we're holding a prisoner.
yeah.
To say nothing about if the person's guilty and he ends up in court, that's one thing, and the time comes off. But to have an innocent person found innocent and sit over there for 245 days is as far as I'm concerned, just
It's not
not
fair.
acceptable.
Not fair, that's right. That's right. Okay, anybody else, public input? Okay, seeing none, we have minutes for the last meeting?
Yes. That is August 29, 2012. On page 1, we need to change. The committee met on Monday, 1 o'clock, to review 4 candidates. That is for the nursing home administrator position.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Go ahead.
I know this isn't customary, but since it's quoting what I had to say,
Yep,
can I?
go ahead.
We didn't receive a quote from Belknap County for cost references. The man suggested if we were going to go out for an RFQ that we might consider Belknap County, who recently got a quote.
You want to take that,
We did not get one.
you want to take that complete sentence out of there?
You can, or I just, what I don't want in here is that we received a quote. We didn't receive a quote.
Okay, we take
Or
that
we
sentence
received a
out.
suggestion that we use a Belknap County quote for reference. Would be
Okay.
fine.
Okay,
So take it out.
just take it out.
Take it out, that's fine.
Anything else? Do you have any other questions?
By the free meals by Cybertron, he admitted that he got free meals. And do you have
Okay, did
something
not have
that
to
you
pay,
want?
no, was one, she has never paid, and that is part of his contract.
Another point.
I'm not sure, would you say what you said again? Mr. Rich gets free mail, he admitted, I don't see where he admitted it.
Let me see, you have to look by the, I asked the question. He said, yes, he's getting free meals, and then he said it was offered to him.
Where's it in the minutes?
Let's see.
He is never paid, and that is part of his contract. Mr. Rich asked when and who said that. They have offered free meals, but you stated that I
Here,
said
oh, yeah.
that to someone, which I did not. If you're going to say, responded, no one offered you free meals, you are getting free meals? I don't see where he said that or admitted that.
Yeah, no, it is not in it, but I put it in because he admitted he get free meals, but then he said it was offered to him.
Well, I don't remember him saying he got a free meal. I think
Well,
it's
he's-
right the way
he
it's
is-
written.
He is getting it.
Yeah,
They
he
have-
said they do offer him free meals.
They offer him free
But
meals.
he didn't say that he,
Well, what is it then?
I think the minutes-
If then it is a free meal or not?
I think
If
the
they
minutes are
offer-
right the way they're written.
Well, I asked the question, and he's getting free meals. He said, yes, he's getting it, but then he said it has been offered to him. So I just want to have it literally in there.
It is in there. It says they have
Yeah,
offered
that they
free
have
meals.
offered, yeah. And yesterday I hear Mr. Rich didn't pay also again for his lunch.
You got documentation to that, for that?
He took.
Get a statement from the cash register or
He
somebody
get a free
saying
meal,
that.
and he said he has no money. I don't know why you nonstop have to defend Mr. Rich, that you want to have documentation from him. He's not paying it. If we have people there, they're not paying it, they need to sign a paper and say they don't pay for their lunch, or they shouldn't get any lunch. Anyone can bring their lunch with them. We shouldn't put a burden on the taxpayers to provide his lunches. I'm lining up as a commissioner and I'm paying for my sandwich. Why is a contractor who's making over $100,000 not paying for his lunch?
I think you
You
need
have
to,
other employees are also paying for their lunch, and they getting really upset, the employees who are paying.
Would
And
you-
he said, why would he not pay? He's lining up in front of me, he is not paying. He should be paying.
would you get a statement from the
I will walk to the
cashier
nursing
that he
home
did not
today.
pay? And then we can talk about it? Have any other corrections?
No, and you said you have no corrections, so we're done with
You
this.
got corrections, Mr. Babson?
I've got, well, one of them pertains to me and the other is just, I don't believe the cost could be between $12 and $15,000.
Well, it's 12,000.
It should be 12,000, but that was from another, that was the quote from another, or a potential quote from another.
It's black box.
Like, yeah, I didn't know whether they want to put it in there or not, but that's what his roughed out without a formal quote was black box, not Teletechniques. Teletechniques said they would
So
be
how would you like
considerate.
that to read?
So,
Black box.
you wanna take that out, the last sentence, the cost could between, we can take the cost out.
I think that would be better, Commissioner Kenny, because he didn't give us a quote.
Oh, okay, just take,
And
just.
down
the
in
last
1,
sentence
2, 3, the fourth paragraph, it says Commissioner Solomon, it is called free enterprise. She is questioning the cost because the whole thing was done wrong. I think in fairness to both Commissioner Kenny and Commissioner Solomon, it ought to be Commissioner Kenny is questioning the cost. It wasn't, as it reads there, it sounds like it was Commissioner Solomon.
Okay, so let me see. It is by the fiber optic line?
No,
Is that what you're reading?
no, it's in
Yeah,
the
that's-
paragraph that starts Commissioner Kenny, the
Yeah,
long one.
It's fiber optic.
yeah, it's the fiber
Oh,
optic line.
yes, okay,
Yeah.
yes, you're correct, I'm sorry.
So.
And just down here where it says Commissioner Solomon, it is called free enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
She is questioning the cost. She ought to be Commissioner Kenny.
I have that.
You have it, but it's not
Commissioner,
written.
put it
instead of she, it's
Huh?
Commissioner
I
Kenny?
understand what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
It
where
wasn't
she-
Commissioner
where she
Solomon.
is,
Maybe
that's
she,
Commissioner
you can
Kenny.
put, you can put money in.
Okay, any further corrections?
No, I think that's it.
Go ahead.
I don't want to be picky, but I believe it should read, it should have gone out to bid, not it should have went out to bid.
Where are you now?
Yeah,
One more line down.
it's the same,
Same paragraph.
It reads now, it should have went out to bid.
Yeah, sure.
Should have gone out to bid.
Okay.
did you get that?
Did you major in English also?
As a matter of fact, Mr. Commissioner, Mr. Chairman, I have a degree in English literature. Yes, I did.
Oh, great.
Doesn't help me much.
I noticed.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, so I make a motion to approve the minutes of August 29, 2012 as corrected.
I'll second it. All further discussion? All those in support of the motion say aye. Aye.
Aye.
So voted. Okay.
I have a couple non-public needs to be released. Or you wanna do it later? You wanna
What?
do them first?
Yeah, let's do them first.
Okay.
I asked Mr. Howard Chandler to be here. Maybe he's coming a little bit later. But, Janice, if you wanna come up? I don't know if I did this before, maybe we did this at a delegation meeting, but Janice Sullivan is our new HR person.
We did it here.
Yes.
We did it
Didn't do
here?
in the delegation.
Okay. This is the second day on the job.
It
You
is.
found your office okay?
I did. I did.
Have you been informed that you would be doing the investigation on Mr. Perry?
Yes.
Okay. Also, would you do a little bit of training on how to document things?
Mhm.
I think this is a request coming from the nursing home.
Mhm.
What's involved in documenting, date, time, witnesses, those kinds
I
of
have
things?
an entire module
You
that
do?
I can share.
Oh, great, good, good, okay. What else can I ask you? You had a chance to review the policies,
Limited.
but still working on them?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
It's a great start that,
Mhm.
that Deb has made at this point.
Okay.
That I think can be supplemented with some additional policies.
Yep, yep. So it's a work in progress, continue to
much
look
so.
at policies?
Mhm.
Okay. What else was I gonna ask you? I guess that was it, other than if you have any particular comments or things that you'd like to bring up after being here a day and a half, a day and an hour?
I think it's pretty early.
It is extremely early.
Bring something up.
The one comment that I do have is I'm so impressed with the new nursing home. What a beautiful facility.
Mhm.
Very much so. I think we're very fortunate to have that.
Very good.
As for the rest, I will reserve comment until I've been here maybe 3 weeks.
Okay. I will give you what I have
Mhm.
regarding the investigation,
Mhm.
and then you can go from there,
Perfect.
okay? I'll give you what the charges were,
Mhm.
and then go.
Okay.
Okay, do you have any comments you want to make?
And I think Mr. Perry wants to tell his side of the story.
Absolutely.
So if you can, if
Absolutely.
you're going to do it, if you can talk and interview everyone involved.
Absolutely. I wouldn't do it any other way. That will actually be my first.
Okay.
I would say,
interview with
yeah,
them.
set that as a high priority, and let's get through with that, get it done, and back to us.
Sounds good.
Good. All
Do you
right.
have the grievance? Did you receive the grievance?
I do have it.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay, that's all I had for you. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
Debbie, would you check downstairs to see if Mr. Howard's coming over? Mr. Chandler, I should say.
Is he working today? Was he coming in nursing home? Or is he coming here only for this meeting?
Mr. Chandler is the interim of the Mountain View community, and he has agreed to work certain hours every day and be on call the other hours. According to state law, we have to have somebody who has a license or certificate that they can put up on the wall saying that they're responsible or their license is on the wall. Should something go wrong, it's their responsibility. We do have,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Two areas
What is
of
his
non-public.
background?
what is his background?
I know you said last week that he's filled in twice here.
He's filled in twice at Belknap County Nursing
Oh,
Home
at
as an
Belknap.
as an interim. He has like 30 years' experience in the nursing home business. He was involved with, my understanding, with Gunstock, which is a county facility, reports to a separate board of trustees or directors. He has taught several people for their licenses. I think he had 5 or 6 people that he counseled to get their certificate. That's all I can remember right now. We are interviewing him again and another individual from Vermont on the 10th of September, and we'll make a decision then as to who we hire. So that would be next
Full-time?
Monday, full-time, yep. The other individual does not have a license yet. He has applied for one. So we can't hire anybody without a license, or at least, I know when Forrest was hired,
His wife was the, his
he
wife had
didn't
the
have
license.
one. Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. His wife had one. That's right, exactly. I forgot that. But he came in without a license, but his wife signed for him, basically. Yep. I don't know. We're just waiting for.
Okay, then I can get a couple of things.
Okay, go ahead.
I think Mr. Brown mentioned something on the website. It was talking about a former human resource director, her spouse's settlement. I just want to say, if she got a settlement, I was not involved in that. Didn't do any negotiations. I think Commissioner Sorensen gave her the settlement.
What are we talking about?
Said he was mentioning a post on a website, and I believe it was in the paper. About that missing file, I think it was in the paper.
What settlement are we talking about? I don't remember any settlement.
Oh, yeah.
What was the settlement?
I think, did you just say that a former HR director posted the missing file was a settlement file?
That's what's
That was
posted
there on the
on,
site. I just want to say I was not involved in that.
I don't believe I was involved in the
You
settlement.
were involved in that.
How
You
do you
gave
know?
that away.
How do you know I was involved?
You gave that away because when I hear there was a settlement giveaway and asked for it, and I asked Primex for it, I said, what is going on? And you were involved. You were the one that gave it away.
Next week, I will find out what the settlement was for the HR person's,
Spouse,
okay.
that's what's,
It
you know,
is
there
about-
was discussion about a
It is
missing
about,
file.
this is a board, there are 3 commissioners. If we're giving settlements away, we need to involve all the commissioners. So we need to know what are we giving away, is the person getting something or not. You cannot make that on your own, but like you stated a couple weeks ago, like you hired an attorney, you said you have all the authority as the chairman of the Board of Commissioners. And not only that, a couple weeks ago, you also said you're above the law. When the question was
No.
asked to you from
No.
Mr. Comeau, he asked that question. So I don't think you can give just a settlement away just like that. All the 3 commissioners should be
I
involved.
think before we say any more about a settlement, let's document it, and I will
It
help
is-
document it
it is-
next week,
It's documented, you have it.
a settlement.
Yeah, you
Remember
have that.
that's been said. She is saying that there was a settlement, okay? Just
It
remember
is
that.
posted on the
And
website.
next week, I will show what the real fact is. Mr. Babson?
2 things, Mr. Chairman. It isn't on the website, Commissioner. It's on Facebook. It is not on there's nothing on the county website
It
about a
is
settlement.
online, Facebook or whatever it's called, I
It
don't
makes a
know.
big
It was
difference
mentioned
if
here.
if you're accusing somebody of a settlement and it's supposed to be on a public page and it isn't, that's not accurate. If you say it's on Facebook, that is accurate.
Yeah, well,
And
Facebook,
the other
whatever
thing
it's
is,
called.
I don't know, but I would like to get it answered by the commissioners. If Primex decides on a settlement, do you have the authority to, or does the board have the authority to say no? Or if they settle it, is that the end of it? And that's important in this case.
I think it's as I recall, they ask if we agree to it. I believe that's what happens.
And what if they say no, Dave?
And what if we say no?
Excuse me, you say no. Do they go back and renegotiate?
Then it would have to go to court.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll check on that. I think we have the opportunity to say, no, we don't agree with the settlement.
Okay.
But it is a board. The board should be voting and say if we give something away, a settlement or
I
not.
didn't say I would do it.
Yeah,
Point
you
of
did it.
order.
Yep.
There is a settlement, because I've seen it.
How have you seen it?
Down at the business office?
Let's make sure now that this is recorded. You saw the settlement?
Yes.
What did the settlement say?
Well, I don't have it in front of me, so I don't want to go on record as stating exactly what it says.
Did you see it?
I've seen it, yes. I received it in a packet of settlements.
So who showed you that?
Yeah,
gave
who
that?
showed you that?
Who gave you that?
The business office has it.
What did you see? Did you see a name and a number?
Uh-huh.
And did you say why, what the reason was for the settlement? Did it say that?
I can't recall off the top of my head, but there is a settlement.
Oh, is that
That's not
money-
that's
is-
not the point. The point is, you said you saw the settlement. That is
Oh, wait a
non-public,
minute, okay, well, all right.
that's non-public information.
All right, maybe not the, it's a
What you saw was a list.
list.
Okay.
And then it goes into some detail, okay, maybe it's not the full signed settlement.
Yep.
But it's a synopsis of a settlement, for the lack of a better term, maybe. Each settlement had a brief description of, how much was received, what.
Yep,
So,
yep.
there is a settlement,
Okay.
because I've seen it.
That's public information, a list of settlements, and the amount is public information. And that's why we gave that to you, because I believe you requested that, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. You got anything else?
Yeah, regarding PBS, the flooring, it was $750,000 or $700,000 is in a document. The flooring did not go out to bid. You just gave it to PBS. I think it should have gone out to bid,
What-
$750,000
What flooring are
of
we
the
talking
new
about?
nursing home.
Yeah,
Because PBS didn't do the flooring itself. They hired somebody else to do the flooring.
well, they hired everybody else to do the whole building.
No, but they get the lump sum. The other thing, the county put really out to bid. They put it out for the county. But you give this, the $750,000, this lump sum, to PBS. That PBS is doing the flooring. It never went out to bid. And they hired for them a contractor, so they
Mhm.
get a lump sum and pay out of this money the contractor. I think that the county, we should have put this out to
I-
bid.
I think when we gave Bonapage and Stone the building of the new nursing home, they contacted many different companies to put in bids to do certain things at the nursing home. I'm sure that they had to put out for bid the flooring in the new nursing home. We wouldn't have put that out. They were responsible for doing that. That
Yes.
was in their contract.
Yes, I get it, but it is like the hookup. See, the pellet boiler system.
Yeah.
It didn't go to anyone else. They also get that. They put it out to bid, and they actually put in
Okay.
the bid themselves, and they got it, and they hire other people to do it, so they get a lump sum.
I'll
The
s-
flooring, the $750,000, they could put it out to bid for other people, and they can bid on it. But this went to PBS itself, the big lump sum, $750,000 for the flooring. But PBS itself didn't do it. They hired contractors to do it. So they get a lump sum of money and they pay the contractors out of this. So PBS get this bid actually, the flooring. It never went out. So it's also the same here with the hookup, the pellet boiler system. It needs to go out to the people, the companies, but PBS actually did the same thing too. They got it. They put it out to bid, and they bid themselves on it, and they got it too. That is what I wanted to bring
I'd like
out.
to see that in writing.
Well, you have it because every
No, I
time
don't
you
have
were
it.
here, you
I
don't
don't-
have
I
the
don't believe-
package.
I
You
don't-
don't have the package from the
I don't
new
believe
nursing
what you're
home.
saying. If
It
you,
is-
if you
it
can
is
prove it to
there.
me, then I will
It
believe
is in
it.
it, and a while ago, we've been talking about it in a meeting ago, a couple months ago, and you said, yes, PBS get it. So now you deny again.
Just prove it to me.
Yeah, it is there.
Otherwise, it doesn't
Downstairs.
mean anything.
Downstairs has it. It does.
No,
You-
no,
You give
you
$750,000
show
away.
If you're accusing me, you show it to me
It-
where I did something wrong.
It
Okay?
is there.
You show it to me.
Yeah, it is downstairs.
No, you show it to me.
Yeah, I will get it for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr.
and I
Chandler.
have-
Come up, please.
Commissioner, where would you like me?
Any place, wherever you feel
Well, it's
comfortable.
wherever you want me. I serve at
There
your
you go.
pleasure.
Oh, if you want to sit up front here.
Up front?
Yep.
The question that came up earlier is, what do we know about you? So if you could just give a very quick briefing as to the experience that you've had in the past.
I'd be glad to.
Okay.
I've been a nursing home administrator for 33 years in New Hampshire.
Mhm.
I've been a preceptor to 5 other nursing home administrators. Worked at Taylor Community for 29 years. Have been at Meredith Bay Colony Club for the past 4 years. Have been part of 2 consulting companies, Foggy Bottom Consulting and White Mountain Elder Solutions. Worked on teaching. Educationally, have a master's of science in organizational management, and part of a doctorate in organizational management as well. Let's see, I'm trying to think what else would be pertinent. I can go on, or I could be pretty concise. In general, I've worked in the not-for-profit world, but have consulted with both the private and the municipal sector. Have on 2 occasions been the consultant administrator at the Belknap County Home. Have for 15 years been just recently off the board at the Gunstock the Gunstock Recreation Commission, and been very pleased to be associated with them, and have been on the board of trustees at Lakes Region General Hospital.
Okay. How long were you interim at Belknap County?
For 2 periods, for both were less than a year. One was fairly extensive, one was almost a year,
Mhm.
and one was shorter, I think around or about 6 months.
Okay.
I did that in addition to my responsibilities at Taylor Community.
Okay. Yeah. Good. You were able to find your office okay yesterday?
It's a very organized place. You have a wonderful facility here,
Mhm.
and a great staff to work with. But we're already off and running. Met with the staff. Actually came in on Monday to meet the night staff,
Yep.
and came in yesterday to start the meetings with the general staff. And they're a wonderful group to work with.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You had agreed to work so many days a week. You want to talk about that a little bit?
My present management contract is on an interim basis until a permanent administrator is hired, and that includes on typically between 3 and 4 hours a day that I'm doing in addition to my responsibilities at Meredith Bay Colony Club. But I have left it open to all staff to be available around the clock,
Mm-hmm.
so that the lack of physical presence in the afternoon doesn't doesn't have to stop them from getting hold of me or being available to them.
Yeah, okay.
And that will that keeps Mountain View community licensed and in compliance with state regulations that require that there be a licensed nursing home administrator of record and available.
Are you aware that we're due to have a survey by the state anytime?
Anytime, and that's the,
Okay.
typically there's one announced and there can be, when the state was better staffed, one unannounced, so, but,
Mhm.
so being of course, being survey ready is something that is something that we should be all the time.
Yeah.
That's the starting point of quality, not the end point.
Mhm.
And tell you, in working with Becky Mason, she's on top of the clinical side. She's doing a great job. And I think the other issues and problems we have are being dealt with, and I started working with some of those issues yesterday,
Okay.
because they can't wait. But I
Mhm.
think in terms of state survey, I haven't looked at all the clinical things yet, but everything I've seen would show us to be survey ready.
Mhm. Okay.
Largely thanks, with thanks due to the efforts of Sandy before me and Becky, who's there now.
Mm-hmm. Good, good. I'd open it up for anybody. Yes, Mr. Babson?
Thank you. Mr. Chandler, I'm on the delegation here, and I think Mr. Brown and I have had the same concern for quite some time. What is your philosophy on a priority list of prospective residents? In other words, if you lived in Carroll County for 40 years and paid taxes, I believe Mr. Brown and I believe that there should be some priority given to the person that's lived here and paid their taxes versus someone that's arrived in the last year and their kids can't take care of them any longer, so they put them over here. What is your philosophy?
Well, you raise an interesting point. And there's another component that you haven't addressed, and I know that was big in Belknap County, and that was private pay versus Medicaid eligible. And in Belknap County, preference always went to those who could not afford to pay privately. So there was also not only a residency requirement, but preference was given to those who had financial need. And I'm not sure if that's a component of what you see.
No, it's not. Mine's strictly, I've lived here, not me personally, although it's true. I've lived here 40 years, paid my taxes. Now I need to go to the nursing home. I call up, well, you're fifth on the list. There's 4 people in here that have signed up ahead of you and have lived here in Carroll County for a year or 2 years, or may not even live here.
The other thing that you'd want to bring into that factor, and I'm not sure to what degree, is the immediacy of the need. People will knock on a nursing home's door. Some are in the hospital, and there's absolutely no way that they could ever be cared for in their own home. There are some people of a reduced need where they need it, but it's a little discretionary. The challenge, part of it's clinical and part of it's political, is deciding, how do you weigh those different components? Who has financial necessity? Who has clinical necessity? Clearly, I think most everybody would agree that Carroll County residents should always have precedent over out of county. And I'm speaking, I shouldn't speak for the commissioners in that regard, but that seems to be generally accepted.
Excuse me, that's what I was asking. What's your philosophy? I think you just stated it, that
Clearly.
Carroll County residents should get
Clearly.
I think
priority over.
Yeah. I think another point that maybe hasn't been made is whether we can provide the services at our nursing home.
Right.
For example, if somebody comes in and needs
A ventilator, I mean, they could need, the nursing home is restricted by regulation to only serving those for whom it can properly care for.
dialysis, for example. We don't
Exactly.
provide dialysis, so we normally don't take a patient
Correct.
that requires dialysis. That came up, a year ago, 2 years ago. So it depends on what services they need, also as to whether we accept them in or not.
The only reason, if I were, I recognize that it's not my decision, because it's a policy that would be for the commissioners, but the only reason to accept somebody from out of county would be because it would otherwise benefit the county. in terms of if there were 3 empty beds and there was a private pay person coming in from outside, and that would help reduce the burden on county taxpayers, and there wasn't taking the place of anybody from Carroll County, well, that would make sense. And I'd be an advocate for that. But when there's a wait list, I think clearly the county resident should have preference.
Do you think?
Go ahead.
Do you feel that if you have a county list, that priority ought to be, considering that the medical needs are the same, that the priority list ought to be based on longevity here?
That's a tricky
I
one.
mean, my concern is, many times I've gone over the nursing home and you sit down and you talk to these old folks and they're from New Jersey or Pennsylvania, and the scenario is almost the same. Their kids are 60 years old and dad's 80, and they bring them up here and I'll take care of them in my house, and they're here for about a month and they realize they can't do it. Yes, they're technically residents of Carroll County, but they're now over here because the parents can't take care of them. Whereas somebody who might have lived here for 30 years and paid their taxes, and they're number 2 or 3 on the list, where in my feeling, they should be number 1.
If asked, my recommendation to the commissioners would be, a simple way of doing that would give preference to people for whom Carroll County has been their primary residence for, let's say, at least a year. But if you start, I would hate to pit neighbor against neighbor, someone who's been here 39 years and someone who's been here 38 years, and to do it that way, because then it gets to be real hard to determine. But if you have a simple system, if we could determine who was a landowner of record, had voting rights within the past year, so was the primary residence, or whether that's 1 year or 5 year, whatever gets decided, that's an easy to manage process. And I would recommend that. And I think that would address the 80% of the concern that you have of the people who move up for the summer and call themselves resident.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I think there is if I remember correctly, I think there is a time period.
This should be.
But I don't remember exactly what that is, but I was thinking it was a year. I tend to agree with you.
I think
they
it's
have
an
to be
easy one to
registered here.
manage.
Yeah.
And it's long enough that if somebody needed nursing, they're not going to game the system by moving up just for that, because that's they would need so much home care that it wouldn't make sense.
Now, would you say that the private nursing homes would act differently than a county nursing home regarding private pay versus Medicare, Medicaid?
Well,
Because private pay pays the top dollar, where Medicaid or Medicare, they pay a reduced rate.
well, and it's in
Which
some
means
cases
less
almost
profit.
2 to 1. Private nursing homes aren't going to admit this. But when people say, when they call me and say, I said, if you are private pay, identify yourself as private pay when you call, because beds open up sooner. And while it might not be their official policy, a private nursing home only makes money and can only afford to take care of those who don't have money by doing cost shifting. So they would give clear preference in most cases to private pay. Where the county system will typically give preference to those who can't afford to pay because they otherwise don't have any other in-county options.
Right, yeah. Go
I've
ahead.
heard a statement about dialysis. We don't offer dialysis.
Yeah.
However, we will take a person in who requires dialysis and transport them to a dialysis center for cleansing.
We have not done that.
And I don't see that that's fair. I mean, because there is services available, dialysis.
In
for
Laconia
instance.
or up north, yeah. Now there's gonna be one in
There's gonna be
Conway.
one in Conway, and there's
Yeah.
one, I believe there's one in Huggins, so.
In Huggins?
I think so, isn't there?
I think it's in Alton.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but the point being that if a person is a resident of the county and needs a nursing home, there is services available so that that person could be transported daily, weekly, whatever the case may be.
I think the question there becomes, who has the financial responsibility for that transport? Who takes responsibility
Yeah.
in terms of, if you open things up to all special needs, and some of that could, if someone had daily need for cancer treatments to
Right.
Boston or Dartmouth, that might be, if the family or the resident themselves were taking financial responsibility, that probably wouldn't be a burden to the county, and it might make sense for that to be an exception. But for the county to assume
Well, if
any
they're
and all
Medicaid,
responsibility,
they'll be covered as well, I would assume.
it might. And I don't know the specifics about dialysis.
I was just curious.
But there are some people whose medical situation is not medically stable for the typical nursing home. It would need to be in a subacute hospital setting, a Health South, or even, I'm not exactly sure what Huggins does, that would not be suitable for most any nursing home. And they would be people that we would have to say no to.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Brown?
I just heard two words that are a little troublesome, one being should, and the other being political. I think, the county residents should be a priority. But without a county list, it can become political. So I would like to see a county list, that county residents, whatever the terms might be, and it's listed, and that county residents do in fact get preference. Based upon, granted, the medical issues that were discussed in that thing, but, I mean, there should be a county list for the people of the county. This is a county nursing home. There should be a county list, and I would hope that the commissioners would put forth a policy to create a county list.
Okay.
I always use the word political in the good sense, being that which is a management decision or administrative decision, and that which is the reasonable responsibility of the elected officials, the political officials. That's not I was saying political not in a bad sense, but in a good sense, that's a matter of policy that isn't a facility policy, that is a county policy, a commissioner's responsibility, in my estimation.
Okay, anybody else got any quick questions for our new administrator?
I didn't hear that he was going to be a new administrator. My son just told me. I am in my 80s. I worked here 44 years ago
In the county home?
in the old county home.
44 years, that's a
44 years
that's a
ago.
long history of service.
Yes. And I think that, I know the reason why we have a county home. It's to look after the people in the county who can't first afford to be here.
Exactly.
To be in a nursing home.
That is the
That's
history
it.
and heritage of how the whole system
And
came to
that's the
be.
reason why it was set up years before I came. And I was here 44 years ago in the old white building. And I worked there, and I was working in this one here too when it was built. I was full-time employed at Huggins Hospital. I know two of the girls now. One has just left, the administrator, Sandy McKenzie.
A wonderful gal.
She came and worked at Huggins 28 years ago. And Becky Mason, I worked with her over 28 years.
Another great leader.
Yes. And I'm glad to have met you.
It's nice to
And
meet you as
I think it's a
well.
wonderful thing, what we are doing, what you people are doing. I'm not doing it. I'm
Have
doing
you-
other things.
Have you seen the new place?
Yes, I've been in it.
Okay, good. Is it
Better
not-
than some people live in.
It is
Better than what I live in.
It is better
But
than,
I'm happy I have what I have.
it is better than any nursing home in the state. You
You
all have,
can't find a better
you
nursing
have
home.
great reason to be
And I'd
proud.
like to take some of the patients and tell them, where is the corruption in this home? There is no
There
corruption
is
in
none.
that home.
There is none.
That, I've looked it up in the dictionary, I've used the word, but I've also looked it up in the dictionary, and I wouldn't put that word on anything that is loving and caring for the people of this county. And the reason why we have a nursing home is because we were loving and kind to our families years and years ago, and it's developed up until now.
It's a special place. You have good reason to be proud of your service there.
Yes, Mr. Brown?
Mr. Chandler is just an interim, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
He's an
Interim until a full-time permanent person is hired.
So the commissioners are all looking for a permanent person, and Mr. Chandler is just the interim?
Yes.
That's correct. Mr. Chandler is one of the possibilities of being a permanent one. We have another one
Oh,
that's
okay, so-
also possible.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have another interview for those two people.
Oh, so, all right, so Mr. Chandler is possibly
Could
gonna
possibly be,
permanent.
yeah,
Oh,
Yep.
good.
okay. Okay, if there's no other, you got another question?
Not for, oh, I
Not
thought
for
you
this
were going
one?
into public,
Okay.
but I'm sorry.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Look forward to you working over there and keeping things straight and ready for the survey and so forth.
We'll be ready.
So, okay,
Just
thank
have-
you.
I just
Thank
have a
you.
quick question.
Yes, Ed?
Mr. Chandler, do you feel confident with the knowledge you have of the Affordable Health Care Act and how it's going to impact the county if you were to take the position permanently?
I can't speak to that because I don't know enough. My presumption is that it isn't really going to have an effect on the county nursing home. I'm not aware of any place where it would likely intersect. But is there any place that you're aware of that it might, that I should be looking into?
Well, it's going to definitely affect the Medicaid and Medicare rolls.
It's certainly going to affect reimbursement rates, but nobody's been able to really project where that's going to be, and that's going to be a big factor. But in terms of policy operations, the hope is that the Medicaid system for the people who need it the most, the indigent in the nursing homes, is going to be protected, but there's been no assurances given, so we don't really know. But I don't know any other nursing home administrator that has enough information to take any kind of action or take any position or can change anything yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you again,
Thank you.
Mr. Chandler.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do you have some non-public
Yeah,
minutes?
and I have a couple of things.
Could I look at them before you?
Yeah, I have 3 sets for release. I think you all read them.
This is accurate? Okay, I have no problem with that one. that was actually said.
Yes,
Really?
yes. That is how you prove it to and sign for it when you're ready. It is here. Because the other one, she said, we shouldn't release, but this, they say I should release, so I did it over.
Okay.
I have a question for Jason. I see 9:30 and 9:45. Are you coming Will and then you come separately?
Yes.
So, okay.
I don't see that in there.
Which thing?
Where you say it's, no, I lost it.
Dead sentence?
No, right here. I don't see that in these minutes. Do you see it?
It should be, for the sake of cheaper discipline.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, if
okay.
it's the same, I
Yep.
don't take anything out, I don't change anything. It's exact what you sign and approve.
Let me question this one. Which one did I give you first? This one here? Okay, I have no problem releasing that one. That's this one.
So I make a motion to release the non-public minutes of April 25th, 2012.
I'll second. All those in favor of the motion? Or further discussion on the motion?
No.
All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so voted.
25th.
This year.
Yes, 2012. So anyone can inspect it, and I will make copies of this here. Anyone wants to see it? Who wants to
Please.
see it? Who wants to see it?
Thank you.
And I make a motion to release the non-public minutes of September 21st, 2011.
What was the date?
September 21st. I'll second it. Keep in mind now, these are not the total minutes. This is what can be released within those minutes. There are still some things within minutes that cannot be released, okay? I'll second the motion to release portions of the September 21st minutes. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so voted.
Anyone wants to inspect it, I will make copies after the meeting. The release minutes will be available in the business office. I make a motion to release the non-public minutes of September 14, 2011.
Portions of it, or?
No. The legal consultation is out and just please.
Is this client privilege
Which one?
with Dewhurst?
That is out. I think he came to talk about, I don't know what, but his stuff is out. Do her stuff, I don't know if it was something about a jail or something. The legal consultation is out. So it is only like public info, so.
Now, is he present all the time?
No, it just came,
It doesn't say when.
it just came in the beginning, yeah. No, because he was in for legal consultation, so the legal
Okay.
consultation is out.
Okay.
So there's only the public stuff that we can release.
I want to think about that one some more.
But this
Because
is all,
of the
this
names
is,
that are in
but
there.
this is all public info.
I'd like to think about it some more.
And I can
Okay.
redact the names if you want to redact the names, but this is public info. I mean, there
Yeah.
is nothing said about anything. So Commissioner Sorensen doesn't want to release the September 14 non-public
I want to look at it
minutes.
some more. There are
Yeah.
names mentioned in there that may not be
Yeah, but. it is-
information that should be made out, but I'll look
but-
at it some more.
But it's general, there's no accusations, it's nothing. This is just for public information.
I'll look at it some more, okay? So save that one, 14. Okay? All right. I'll open it up again for public information. Comments? Yes, Mr. Babson.
Mr. Chairman, as I read these released minutes, really, some of them, I don't see why they're non-public to begin with. Why is it non-public whether you
Yeah,
have
this
a
is,
nurse
this
come
is
over
the
to
same
jail?
here.
Yep.
This should never be non-public, and he doesn't even want to release it. This should have been said in public.
I'm talking about these that you've released.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
Why is a discussion of whether you have the nurse cover the jail a non-public issue?
Yeah, no.
I mean, I don't know what happens in this meeting, but it appears that you get sidetracked and you go into stuff that should be clearly
Yeah.
open. The
Yeah.
one that Mr. Brown has there has a couple other points on there that
Mm-hmm.
don't. I don't know how you control that, but, you know,
Yeah.
they're over a year old and you're just letting out one now that says they discussed whether the nurse should go over to the jail or not. Anyway,
I would have to
Okay.
agree with Mr. Babson.
Yep.
And
that.
September
Okay.
14 is the same. This is just public, should have said in public. And this is such general, there's no accusation, it's nothing. This did have to go to the public.
That's your
I
opinion.
don't- No, it's not the opinion.
Any further
It's
comment from the public?
information.
On another
Any-
subject,
Yes.
could you sort of confirm with Jason if I gave you the right figures on the cost shift down from the state? I think, Jason, didn't you tell
Do
me
you
there
have the
were,
dates?
2009, there were 125 days,
And I believe.
2012,
You
245,
have that?
what, $74 a day? You said? Around $400,000 is the
I have
downshift
to
into
make
the county.
copies now for the public, so this is, let me keep it all easy.
Jason, where'd you come up with the $74 a day?
I'm sorry, sir?
Where did you come up with the 74? I thought it was always at $110 a day.
It was, but we did a miscalculation. All the superintendents weren't calculating their cost per day at the same level. Some were putting in capital, others weren't. So at a superintendent's meeting, I want to say it was either late last year or earlier this year, we discussed the formula that everybody was going to use. And
Which
this was
is?
for establishing the per day rate for the federal government. So we all established, used the same formula, which it,
And what is that based on?
I'm sorry.
What is that formula based on?
It's your
Is it
average
the,
daily population,
Yeah.
your total budget, let's see, your average daily population, times that by 365, divide that by your total budget with your capital expenditures and things of that nature, and then that's how you get your cost per day.
you took the capital expenditures out?
As far as the, no, you add them in.
You add 'em
Like
in.
the bond payments for the facility, you add that in. Because it's an expense.
So really what you're doing is you're using the total jail budget per person in the jail.
Correct.
And so what did we do differently before?
I didn't add in the bond payments. I wasn't aware that other superintendents were adding those in.
So if the old
To me,
figure
that
was,
would
I
make
always
it-
thought it was 110 to 122, and if you weren't adding in the bond payment, it should go up, not down.
It should go up, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're using the max number of inmates that the facility can house, that's gonna drop your number down too. If you use actual numbers, I mean, I don't know how close to capacity it is, but if you're not running it close to capacity, that's gonna drive the number up.
That's
But
right.
if you're using it the other way around, it's gonna drive the figure down.
I'll get you the calculation so you can.
Yeah, because no matter how many inmates we have in there, we still have to have the same number of people,
Correct.
right? Correctional officers.
Same bond payment, same,
And bond payments, the food may go down, but everything else should be the same. Yeah, we need to check on those.
Sure.
$74 a day doesn't seem right, especially if we have a lower population. If we had a higher population, then the cost would go down.
Correct.
Just check on that. I'm
Absolutely.
not sure that that's, I'd like to see the formula, I guess.
Sure.
Okay. Any other public comments to be made? We're going to go into a non-public
Yes,
session.
can I have a couple little things what I want to point out. Last week, we had John Rich here from Cybertron.
Yep.
I was asking about the $53,000, the line that he put in a new nursing home, because he gave me a bill or invoice was
$43,000.
was actually fake. No, it's $53,000.
Okay.
It was actually fake, so I went to do some research. I called the manufacturers and other IT companies to see what they're using, what they are doing. And they said it's really fake, you need some more information. Can you ask him some more so he can give you the prices? And when I asked him last week, because the bill was fake, so I said, do you have receipts or something else? He said, oh, it's none of your business. So I went only with what I have, and I have all the numbers. The I was actually surprised how cheap the parts were. And the total what I have is not more than $5,000 for the parts that he bought for the new nursing home. And exact what he put on the paper, that is what I get from the manufacturer. Manufacturer, 2 things are discontinued, so they said you have a replacement. One thing they told me what he wrote down was not commercial grade, but home grade. And it doesn't take long to put it in. And he charged for the parts $43,000. And that's why he said it's none of your business. The parts doesn't cost that much. And talking to other IT companies, he said it doesn't take that long to put in the fiber line, the wireless for the new nursing home, that even $7,500 was too high. But this never went out to bid. If this was going out to bid, you had somebody else could do the job for $10,000 or $15,000. So this was not looking out for the taxpayers to just give this to Mr. Cybertron to do the job for $53,000. And I have the documentation, I have manufacturer stuff, so.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I have it all.
Last week, I
all.
believe the figure, Mr. Chairman, was $43,000.
43,000. yeah.
No.
That's what's in the
Yes, it
minutes.
was.
Yeah, well, that is the parts, but then he charged his time there, like $7,000, $5,000. So the actually bill is $53,000, because he gave me the bill, his invoice.
Well, that has to be documented. In the minutes we just approved, it was 43,000. That's what we have to go by right now.
Yeah.
Unless you can
but-
prove that otherwise, then the 43,000 stands.
Because I think he mentioned first that it was $43,000, but when I get the exact bill, it was $53,000. So we have that invoice downstairs.
You don't have to show me now, but I'd like to see it before next week.
Yeah, but I will
Okay.
show you the amounts, what I get, precisely what he put in, and from the manufacturer, and where you can purchase that, and what actually other IT companies are buying it. So I
Listen,
have that.
The question I'd have is, does the manufacturer actually,
It's just the same.
do they actually put it in?
And IT companies too, they can look it up because they put this line on all the time. So they can tell you precisely how much it costs.
Okay.
Okay, I have the bill. And the other thing, let me see what I got here, because let me see if I miss anything. Oh yeah, I was going to bring up, there was a bill of EJA for $1,800. EJA came here, I believe, was it this year? They attend 1 or 2 old nursing home subcommittee meetings, and they billed for $1,800 just to attend the meetings. Did you pay this bill?
No.
And you paid zero?
I believe there was one bill paid to the architect,
They billed
the girl
$1,800.
that came. I was not responsible for that meeting. That was a subcommittee of
Yeah, but
the.
the question is, did you pay the $1,800 to
I
EJA?
don't, well, you know, if you did your research, you'd know whether I paid it or not.
Yes, you did pay it.
You did?
Yeah, you
Why are you
did.
asking then?
Yeah?
If you already know?
No, yeah, but I'm asking, why did you pay it? Because I see that it's paid, but we didn't even get.
Did you
we
sign
didn't-
the check?
No, we didn't even take a vote on it. I think you should bring it up that there is a bill for $1,800. Are we going to pay it or not? You cannot just sign a bill if
If-
they say they attend.
Let's put it this way. The subcommittee had the meeting. I'm not responsible for the subcommittee.
That's not the
If
issue.
they invited somebody to come, they should pay the expense. Okay? Now, there's 2 people that came from EGA, as I remember. The head man, Mr. Menke, and I can't remember her name. He did not have to come. I don't believe we paid that bill. We paid the one for the girl that came, that used to come to all of the building committee meetings.
Garcia.
So, but that's subcommittee, that's not my responsibility, not our responsibility as a board.
It's not,
If
but
they
you
had
sign the
invited
check.
them to come, then that's their expense. That wasn't our meeting.
Yeah,
Okay,
well-
any further?
Oh, yeah, I have 2 little more things. I see that last year, Robin Gordon was paid $1,800.84.61. Do you know why she get paid?
I have no
Is she
no
still on the
idea.
payroll?
I have no idea. What did you find?
No, I just saw the number from last year that she get paid. That's why I asked.
You need
And
it.
I wonder why she get paid.
You know, if I ask you to document something, then you need to document
Well,
it. You just
I
can't come
ha-
up with a figure, because I don't know what you're
I
talking
have the
about.
numbers from the office. They
Well,
gave
get
it
the
to me.
documentation that goes with those
That's why I
numbers.
asked you. I thought maybe you know.
I don't remember.
But I don't know why she's on. And another thing what I get is there was a filing fee paid for the nonprofit, the 501c3.
There was a what?
The 501c3, a
Yeah.
nonprofit.
Yeah.
We have Commissioner Solomon saying like 3 times on camera here at the commissioners meeting that a 501c3 has nothing to do with the commissioners or the county. That is what she said. It is a nonprofit on itself.
Yep, that's right, that's correct.
Yeah, but
So
now I see.
What's the point?
Now I see that the taxpayers paid the filing fee of $810 for this nonprofit, the 501c3 committee. So my question is, did a delegation appropriated this money to pay that filing fee, the $810
I don't
for
know.
this nonprofit?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think we can just charge
The
anything
only-
what we want to put it in.
The only reason the 501c3 is to benefit all of the
I get
residents.
it part.
Let me finish, okay? Was to benefit the residents in the nursing home. Anything that the 501c3 committee spends or goes to spend or wants to spend has to be approved by the commissioners. Anything that goes into that nursing home has to have our approval. That is what is the 501c3 is all about. They come up with funding to do projects to benefit all of the residents of the nursing home. However, they just can't go ahead and do things without board approval. Okay?
No, I'm just bringing up, you're talking about something else, what they do. I'm just bringing up the filing fee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the taxpayers should pay for that because it's been said it has nothing to do with the commissioners and the county. I don't think the money, the delegation created money for this cost.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Personally, I would approve it because it's going to benefit us in the long run.
Well, that has nothing to do if you think it
Okay.
benefits your students.
Okay. All right. Yes, Mr. Brown?
Clarification that 53,050 that was just discussed, about the bill?
Yep.
What that breaks down to is $45,550 was for the equipment for the wireless for the new nursing home. And then the additional $7,500 was for the dispatch move, which comes out to $53,050.
Say that again. The 45 was for what?
$45,550
Yep.
was for the equipment for the wireless for the new nursing home.
Okay.
The additional $7,500 in that bill of $53,050 was for the labor for the moving the dispatch over.
Okay.
So that's what, there's 2 things in that $53,050 bill.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Yeah,
Mr. Babson?
Does that, Steve, what was the last figure, $7,000 roughly?
75.
$7,500.
Does that get charged to the sheriff's department, or does it get charged somewhere else in the budget?
7,500, that was for the labor. to
Where was it
Put the
charged?
lines there in the new nursing home. All the money went to Mr. Rich from Cybertron. Nothing
Yes, it
went.
did.
Yeah,
But from what I got was that $7,500 for that was for moving the dispatch.
no, I think that's maybe different bill. That is different.
Well,
He
I've
get
got
a-
it-
he get
I've got it on
additional
the
there.
same bill.
He get additional there. Because the 7,500, he said, is labor fee for putting in the wires in the new nursing home. That is one bill. So if you do something else with a dispatch center, that is separate then. That is addition to that.
Why don't you two get together and figure out what you're talking about?
About that bill.
That's what I got from
Well,
downstairs.
he's got one thing, you got another. Settle it out of here and tell us about it next week, okay?
No, the bill
All
is
right,
for
we're gonna go into,
50,000. Okay, I have two little things, and then I'm done. Then next week I
Okay.
will bring up the rest of my stuff. And I think a couple years ago, you went to the Mount Washington. There was the New Hampshire Association. Am I correct that the bill is $16,000?
How much?
$16,000
For
to
what?
attend the Mount Washington.
No.
There was the New Hampshire Association there. Okay, if you can give me the correct figures, because
No, you need to
it
give me the
said-
correct figures, because I
No,
never spent
I-
16,000.
Yeah, but that is what I have. It was $26,000, but then I see $10,000 was contribution to the New Hampshire Association, and it was hotel fee in the Mount Washington
Show me the paperwork.
in the Mount.
Show me the
to get it
paperwork.
at the office.
I never spent
now-
16,000.
Well, that is what
For
it's.
rooms?
But that is what it said. Hotel costs, fees, and everything. That's why I'm asking: is there maybe something else inside included in that?
Wasn't that, thinking back, wasn't that your reservation for the Association of Counties, event? that-
No, she's
that
talking
was
about
out
2
there?
years, she's talking about 2 years
Well,
ago.
that was 2 years ago, wasn't it, that we sponsored the,
It
No.
was in a
the
big
county?
hotel
Carroll
up
County
north.
sponsored it?
No, it was last year, we sponsored the New Hampshire Association of
Yeah.
Counties.
Okay,
That
up in
was
North
in Conway.
okay.
This was
You
in
gotta-
the.
you
Mo-
need,
This
you know,
was
you-
in the Mount Washington.
you need to prove that. Again,
Well,
you're coming up with
I
facts.
get these figures from the office, so it is not
Well,
proof.
you
That
need
is
to
that
get them, you
documentation.
need to get them explained to you what they're for.
That's why I'm asking you. I thought I'd
Well,
bring it
don't
up to you
ask me.
because you would know it, because you signed all this check. There is a bill paid to the Mount Washington. That is that hotel there.
That's
That is
true.
for,
I didn't
that was a
sign it.
New Hampshire Association, it was for employees, it was hotel, it were meals, it were fees, registration. That's why I'm asking you, because I think it's awful high. Is there maybe other things that you put in? It was 26, but I take the 10,000 off because it said contribution to New Hampshire Association.
That's a
And what
dues?
left over, yes, and what left over, all the room and everything, is $16,000.
I gotta see it.
Okay, if you can check on that.
No,
that would
I'm
be
not gonna
great.
check it. You're bringing it up.
Oh, okay.
You present that to me.
Okay, and
Okay.
my last thing is the taxpayers are asking how much you cost them for the time that you serve for the 12 years. Is it a good estimate that it costs nearly $200,000 that the county pay you out for all your expenses and everything?
For the last 12 years?
For the
I had no
12 years
idea.
that you, yeah, I think the numbers what I get, it's nearly $200,000. They've been asking that, so I want to follow up. They asked this a couple months ago, and I know, and
So
what the figures what I get is
that includes
$200,000.
10,500
That
for
includes
each of the years.
yeah, and it includes your
Travel?
Yeah, travels is in it, and I don't know for all the years that you're here if you use the credit card or not, of the other expenses incurred. I don't know about that. So my other questions will be for next week then. So we can keep moving here into the non-public.
I think those figures could be correct if you put in there 10,000 a year, 10,500 a year for 12 years. And then if you include mileage, which is all in the budget, it's all accounted for. I believe there's been a couple of outside citizens that have gone through the expense accounts and find them all in order. Credit cards and so forth. I don't know what you're trying to do in bringing this up. It
I'm
could be
just
true.
asking. This was
Well,
a
I know
question.
it.
It's a question I tried to answer.
I think I
that
could
if
ask
people
you, what have you spent the
questions.
last year that you were a commissioner?
I don't know, I have to look it up.
And why
then
do you
I-
go to
and-
Concord
and then I will
once a
put it
month?
back to you.
Why do you go to Concord
Because
once a
that
month?
has been said to me when I was here, we're going once a month to Concord. There is a
Okay.
New Hampshire Association meeting.
Let me,
So what is the issue now? Now I
let me
cannot go
tell-
once a month to Concord anymore. You can only go to Concord as a commissioner. You can only go to travel to DC, to NACO and everywhere. You can do anywhere. I don't think you have authority over me and can tell me what to do as a commissioner. Like you see the blue book, you said you have all the authority as the chairman of the Board of Commissioners. The blue book what we get from the New Hampshire Association, it clearly stated on page 1, all 3 commissioners are equal. No commissioner has any authority, cannot do anything without a vote of the board. It's clearly in that.
And I don't think I've done anything
And,
wrong. You have to prove it to me.
a lot.
We're getting off the subject here, and we're getting into stuff that really you and I should talk about.
Well, I
But
keep
let
on
me-
asking you and I don't get an answer.
Okay,
So I bring it up then.
let me tell you about the New Hampshire Association of Counties. Each county has 5 members that are elected to that group. The commissioners should only go when there is a commissioners' council meeting. We have not had a commissioners' council meeting in probably over a year at least. So there's only 5 that go. Who are the 5? Ann Eaton, the HR person, Dorothy as a commissioner, the
And you are going?
nursing home administrator, and there's one other. And I can't think of that. I go because I'm the president, so I'm not included in those 5.
Well, I hear the meetings are open for anyone.
They are.
Any commissioners can come and can attend.
They are, but the only
And when I
one-
was elected, you said that once a month you go to the New Hampshire Association. And now you started to backpedal. So I
I'm
don't
not
know.
backpedaling.
So what is your issue now? You find I cannot go to the association meeting once a month
You
as
ha-
a
you
new
have-
commissioner and see what is going on? I can't?
You have 1/3 of the expense account of the commissioners. You can spend it almost any
Yeah,
way
and
you want.
and you
as
take
long
more
as
of
it's-
the money.
As long as it's county business.
So is that not county business? Once a month
That's
you
up
go?
to you.
Because you told me that.
If you run out of money,
That-
then you're on your own.
Well, I think you run out of money because the most expenses is going to your travel. If you look at your January expense,
I travel the
it's,
furthest than any other.
it's $414, and you come, it said, you correct suddenly, it's suddenly with pencil written, and 2 times you said it was a health meeting behind each other. I don't get that. And if you look at it January, you said to me, if you're doing the mileage expenses, only official meetings. You can only put like the New Hampshire Association once a month, or have you on record too saying that, and you said commissioners meeting.
If anybody would
If
like to
you-
look at my expense
if
accounts, feel
It's
free.
there, they need to look.
They're all there.
And if you look at your January expense account, you came on a Saturday and there was not even a meeting. It said just planting and you charged the county mileage.
Look
But
at,
you said officials meeting and once a month New Hampshire Association, and you're not even doing it. Yeah, of course everyone can come to.
I say, anybody can look at my expense accounts. They're open to the public. I'll guarantee you the expenses are proper, and feel free to look at them, okay?
And you said if you have 1/3 out of it, you run out of money, then you're out of money. You already spent more than 1/3 of the money. So what
You-
happened now? You already spent one. If you see January is $414. I never had anything for $414. And look where you're going. 2 times there was a health meeting going on. Why is it 2 days behind each
Because
other, a
I'm
health
on the
meeting?
board of directors of the health,
It's a
representing
health,
the
it's
county
a health
commissioners.
meeting 2 times.
All right, we're all done with this conversation. We're going to move into non-public with the jail and the farm.
So are you making a motion?
I made a motion.
So you're going into non-public
For personnel reasons,
personnel, that's it? Only personnel?
Yeah.
Jail and farm. Commissioner Kenney, yes. Commissioner Sorensen?
yes, so voted. Okay, everybody's excused except for Jason and Will. If we need you, we'll call you in from outside, okay?
10:17.
Okay, you have the time in?
10:17.